In the next few minutes, you are about to discover why a simple yellow circle with a mouth became one of the most powerful, addictive, and strangely intelligent icons in video game history. How Pac-Man secretly rewired the human brain inside noisy arcades filled with flashing lights and impatient competitors. Why the ghosts were never random, despite what everyone believed as kids. How hidden mechanics like patterns, kill screens, sound loops, and score psychology shaped an entire generation of gamers. And why Pac-Man is still quietly influencing modern game design today. So stay until the end, because what looks like a harmless retro game is actually one of the most carefully engineered gaming experiences ever created. Pac-Man arrived in arcades at a time when video games were loud, aggressive, and mostly about shooting aliens or blowing things up. And then suddenly this bright, smiling, constantly chomping character appeared, offering a game that felt friendly, welcoming, and strangely hypnotic, while secretly demanding razor-sharp focus, perfect timing, and a deep understanding of invisible rules that most players never realized were controlling every single movement on screen. The first secret of Pac-Man is that it was designed to be addictive without feeling stressful. Because, unlike many arcade games of the era that punished mistakes instantly, Pac-Man created a rhythm that pulled players into a flow state where the repetitive eating sounds, the predictable maze layout, and the escalating speed made time disappear while quarters vanished from pockets faster than players could notice. Another surprising secret hidden in the confirming glow of arcade cabinets is that Pac-Man was carefully tuned to appeal to everyone, including people who had never touched a joystick before, since the simple goal of eating dots was instantly understandable. Yet mastering the game required memorizing patterns, understanding enemy behavior, and staying calm under pressure as the screen slowly turned into chaos. One of the biggest myths of the arcade era is that the ghosts behaved randomly, because they absolutely did not, as each ghost had its own personality, movement, logic, and targeting strategy, turning Pac-Man into a complex dance where players unknowingly reacted to algorithms designed decades before modern artificial intelligence became a buzzword. Blinky, the red ghost, was programmed to chase Pac-Man aggressively and become faster as dots disappeared, creating constant tension. While Pinky attempted to ambush by predicting Pac-Man's movement, Inky behaved unpredictably based on complex positioning logic. And Clyde alternated between chasing and retreating, which made him appear foolish, but actually made him dangerously deceptive. Another secret buried deep in arcade lore is that Pac-Man was never meant to be beaten, because the infamous kill screen at level 256 was not a challenge, but a programming limitation where memory overflow corrupted half the screen, creating an unplayable mess that turned the game into an unwinnable paradox, instantly transforming Pac-Man from a skill test into a legend. What made this even more fascinating is that players didn't see the kill screen as failure, but as proof of mastery, since reaching that point required hours of flawless play, extreme concentration, and a near superhuman ability to manage speed, patterns, and nerves while surrounded by arcade noise, blinking lights, and competitors watching every move. The sound design of Pac-Man hides another secret, because the iconic Waka Waka sound was carefully chosen to create a feedback loop that kept players engaged without overwhelming them, subtly rewarding every action while building tension as the tempo increased, proving that sound alone can shape how long someone plays a game without realizing why. Pac-Man also secretly taught players risk management, because power pellets created moments of temporary dominance where fear turned into opportunity, forcing split-second decisions about whether to chase ghosts for points or retreat to safety, a mechanic that later became a foundation of modern game design across multiple genres. Even the maze itself holds hidden brilliance, because its narrow corridors and wide intersections were designed to force commitment, punish hesitation, and reward confidence, while the warp tunnels offered escape routes that skilled players learned to exploit, turning the maze into a living battlefield instead of a static map. Another fascinating detail from the arcade era is how high scores became social currency, as cabinets turned local arcades into competitive arenas, where names at the top of the leaderboard carried real prestige, encouraging players to return again and again just to reclaim status, pride, and bragging rights. Pac-Man also changed who played video games, because its non-violent design attracted new audiences who previously felt excluded from arcades, expanding gaming culture beyond traditional stereotypes, and proving that games could be fun, challenging, and universal without relying on aggression. Behind the scenes, Pac-Man's design was also deeply psychological, because the increasing speed across levels created a natural difficulty curve that matched human learning patterns, making players feel smarter and more skilled even as the game became more punishing. which is why so many people remember being good at Pac-Man without realizing how carefully that illusion was crafted. The cultural impact of Pac-Man extended far beyond arcades, spawning cartoons, merchandise, music, and references that cemented it as a pop culture icon. Yet none of that would have lasted without the rock-solid gameplay foundation hidden beneath its cheerful exterior. Even today, modern developers still study Pac-Man to understand how minimalism, clarity, and precise mechanics can outperform flashy graphics and complex controls, proving that a great game does not need realism dialogue or massive worlds to leave a lasting legacy. The real magic of Pac-Man lies in how it transforms fear into mastery, chaos into rhythm, and simplicity into depth, creating an experience that feels playful on the surface while secretly demanding discipline, memory, and focus, which is why decades later people still chase high scores, analyze patterns, and argue about the best strategies. Pac-Man survived technological revolutions, shifting gaming trends and changing player expectations because it was never just a product of its time, but a perfectly tuned system that speaks directly to human instinct, curiosity, and the desire to improve with every attempt. So the next time you see Pac-Man casually chomping dots on a screen, remember that you are looking at one of the most influential, intelligent, and carefully engineered games ever created, a retro masterpiece that quietly shaped gaming history while pretending to be simple fun. If you enjoyed uncovering the hidden secrets of the arcade era and want more deep dives into retro games, gaming history, and legendary classics, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment with your favorite Pac-Man memory. And share this video with someone who still believes it was just a silly yellow circle running from ghosts.